Oscar Wilde said that, and it hurts because it's true. Have you ever felt like you're playing a part in a play you never auditioned for? You wear the costume, you say the lines, but backstage, you know the person in the mirror feels like a mimic, a quotation of what you're supposed to be, not who you actually became. You cling to a job that drains you. You pour energy into a relationship that leaves you empty. You stay in situations you know are bad for you. But why? What is this invisible glue? What is this powerful force that holds us in places we know are making us lose ourselves? And the biggest lie we tell, that this is the best we will ever get. That if we walk away from the shadow, we will find only emptiness. We become convinced that no one else will ever come, that the loneliness will be permanent. This fear chains us to the ghost, but it is a trick of the light, just an illusion. And that's why today, we're talking about the most courageous act there is, the art of walking away. We are creatures of attachment. We are born to bond, to people, to places, to ideas about who we are. This is human, this is beautiful, but here's the paradox. The same wiring that allows us to love so deeply is also the wiring that traps us in situations that are wrong for us. It's like we're standing in a room that's on fire, but we're holding a single beautiful photograph from a happy day we had in that room years ago. We try to ignore the heat. We pretend that the smoke is just a scene, a drama that will be over soon. We lie to ourselves that if we just hold on to this picture, the fire isn't real, the heat is just passion, the smoke is just a mood. And what if? What if maybe the fire isn't real, but the flames keep burning, and the picture in your hands begins to curl from the heat? You have a choice. Cling to the ghost of the room that was, or turn. Open the door and walk away from the fire altogether. You need to understand, this is toxic. Things have already fallen apart, but you hold on to a memory of when things were good, a symbol of past happiness, because you're clinging to the past, refusing to accept the present truth, all because of how good it once was. This is self-deception. We tell ourselves that as long as we cherish that memory, the current problems, the fire, aren't real. We minimize the real danger by romanticizing it. We see arguing and call it passion, pretending that fighting must mean we care deeply. We see constant drama and call it excitement, pretending that instability is better than being bored. That's the human paradox. Our greatest strength, our ability to love, can become our deepest cage when we confuse memory for truth and attachment for love. And this is where the real suffering begins. It lives in our minds. As the philosopher Seneca said, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. What are we so afraid of? What is this terrifying reality we imagine? It's not just about losing the person or the job, it's deeper than that. We don't just cling to the thing itself. We cling to the identity we built around it. We tell ourselves, I am the reliable friend who never says no. I am the loyal employee who stays late. I am the partner who fixes everything. To walk away from the situation feels like walking away from a piece of your own soul. It feels like a betrayal of that reliable, loyal fixer, so the very self you've worked so hard to become. The thought of it crushes us. That is the suffering in our imagination. But here is the question you need to ask yourself. What if that self was just a costume? A role you learned to play so well that you forgot it wasn't really you? What if taking off that costume isn't a betrayal, but the bravest step toward finding who you truly are? So what is this something that we love? This ghost that keeps us there? Philosophers have tried to name it for centuries. It's not actually one thing. It's usually three. Let's call them the three ghosts that keep us stuck. The first ghost is comfort. The devil you know is easier than the angel you don't. The familiar misery feels safer than the terrifying uncertainty of peace. Your brain is wired to choose a predictable bad over an unpredictable good. It's like choosing a prison, over a forest you've never seen. The second ghost is investment. We've already poured so much time, so much energy, so much of our heart into this. There's even a term for it, the sunk cost fallacy. To walk away feels like admitting it was all for nothing, and all that pain, all that struggle wasted. So we double down, trying to win back our losses in a game we never even wanted to play. We keep fixing what was never ours to heal, only to end up hurting again. It's a loop that feeds itself, convincing us that holding on is safer than letting go. The third ghost, maybe the strongest of them all, is fear. Not just fear of being alone, but fear of stepping into the unknown. We wonder, if we let go of what defined us, who will we be? But here's the truth. An empty page isn't something to dread. It's something to treasure. A blank page means freedom, a chance to write a new story, one that finally feels like ours. Fear tells us we'll lose ourselves, but in reality, it's the doorway to finally becoming who we were meant to be. So, what is walking away, really? It isn't a war to win, or a mountain to conquer. It isn't even a sharp decision, the kind where you grit your teeth and force yourself to change. Walking away is quieter, softer. It is the slow loosening of your grip, the quiet recognition that you were never holding what you thought you were holding. What you clung to so tightly was already gone. An echo of a moment, a shadow of a person, a memory dressed up as something real. You are not running away. You are coming back to yourself, back to your peace, back to the present moment, instead of living inside a memory or a hope that is no longer real. This is not a dramatic battle. It is a quiet return, a gentle exhale after holding your breath for too long. Walking away is not about loss. It's about recognition. You begin to see clearly. The rope you fought to hold has not been pulling back for a very long time. What you thought was still alive has already dissolved into the past, leaving only traces, like footprints pressed into wet sand, already blurred by the tide. The struggle was never about letting go. It was about accepting that the moment had already passed, that the story had already ended, that the weight you carried was not real weight at all, but the refusal to admit that time had quietly moved forward without asking your permission. And when this truth settles deep within you, something beautiful happens. The heaviness falls away, not because you forced it off your shoulders, but because you realize there was nothing left to carry. You are lighter, not from letting go, but from finally seeing clearly.